the landmarks of the face, because thinking back to it, this is where I started anatomy as well. So yeah. Can you guys hear me? Is everything okay? Why not? We can hear you. Okay, great. Okay. So I think you guys are just overcomplicating faces. I hope you guys grabbed the anatomy book that I recommended, which is Face, Head, and Neck by Morpho Book by Mitchell Orticella. I keep I've collected a lot of anatomy books over the years. This is gonna be my favorite, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Um, and there's a lot of the information that I learned in my anatomy class in there, just bespoke, and like that shit costs like $11. Just go get it. Support an artist, and also, but also I fucking pirated it for you, so you can just have it. I also pirated it for you, so you can just have it. Okay, so to start with, segments of the face. Thanks to Da Vinci, back in the day, Da Vinci segmented the face into 3 different segments, from the top of the cranium to the bottom to from the top of the cranium, like the top of your head. Um, this is showing like the top of your forehead. I usually do top of cranium, but like top of forehead also, like top of forehead is technically correct. I do top of cranium because it's like kind of whatever. Top of forehead, like the hairline to the top of your occipital socket, or where your eyebrow ridge is, that is going to be the first third segment of the face. That's your forehead, right? That's also the first plane of your face. From the occipital socket, the top your eyebrow ridge, to the bottom tip of your nose slash where your earlobe is, because that's going to be the same line across your face. That's the second segment of the face, right? And then from the bottom of the nose to the chin, to the very bottom of your chin or jawline, is the last segment. And this evenly divides your face into 3 clean segments, according to idealistic Western standards. And you may be wondering, according to this, where would you place the eyes? Because like that's still very difficult. It doesn't tell you where to place the eyes. It's halfway. Top of the cranium, bottom of the jaw. Actually, this time segment the head cleanly in half. That's where you place the eyes. Generally, that's going to be where it is. Some people, you'll have your eyes a little bit set a little higher. Some people, you'll have your eyes set a little lower. But generally, it hits cleanly right in the halfway mark, and that's where your little inner eye gland is going to be, right? Clean right at the halfway mark. Okay. And you'll see like there's a few racial differences, a few like, you know, preferential differences. Like people just, you know, people look different. That's just how it is. Like not everybody's walking around looking like fucking Da Vinci's like perfect model of man. But we all more or less fall into the 3 segment rule. Like you could take a picture of yourself side profile right now and segment the side profile of your face, and you will look like more or less into the same 3 segments rule. And like the segmentation of the face is only ever a suggestion. Remember that you are subject to real world circumstances, and some people will fall like slide either way. And these are just guidelines, so like this is just a good starting point, and you can just move from here to there. And the most important part of the face, in my opinion, is the nose, and that's why I call it the anchor of the face. I always start drawing faces with the nose, and so I always, because it like informs so much of where everything else is going to go. It's always as big as the space from your philtrum to your chin. The philtrum is the little bit, if you touch that little spot between the bottom of your nose and the top of your top lip, that's what the philtrum is. That little divot right there, that's what the philtrum is. And it's important to get your nose right, because it's, you know, a really big defining feature on your face. But figure 3 on in your textbook. I can't believe I have to say in your textbook. Figure 3 in your textbook will show you that the face is segmented into the nose is segmented like that, or like the bottom half of the from the philtrum to the chin is about the same size as the entirety of the nose, right? So, and like the lips are usually half of that. Or tip of philtrums. I kind of just flub the lips. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know the real rules around it. And as far as I can tell, there isn't really many rules around it. Lips are really just up to in like what feels right per face, because everybody's lips are very, very different. Many factors changes lips. Anyways, you may be wondering why I'm teaching you faces and heads, because it seems very unrelated to last week's homework, and that's very fair. But look at this cat first. I will give you a second to coo over Squid because he's adorable. Because I gave you a shrimp last week. Baby, so baby, so baby. Okay, we move on. The head is the landmark of the body. And I will explain right now. When it comes to anatomy, every single measurement on the body is made using the head. So that let's say head is this big, right? That means rib cage is one and a half of that head. Always. Rib cage is one and a half of that. Space from rib cage to pelvis is one whole head, and the pelvis is also the size of one whole head. So if I draw it too big, it looks bad, right? But if I draw it about the same size as that, it looks right. Right? Size of chest is usually like your clavicle is usually two head widths. Head widths. Two widths of your head. Shoulder to shoulder. Okay? Arms. Top part of the arm. 1.5 heads. Or 1 3/4 heads. Right? So it's a little bit longer than your rib cage. It's right about here. Okay? Bottom part of the arm, 1.5. Just a little bit shorter. Or like just a little bit shorter. And then there's a hand, which makes up for the last, like, fourth. Right? Legs, femur, 2 heads. That's too long. 2 heads. Okay? Then your knees. And then the rest of your leg is just 1 3/4 heads. And then your foot is a head. Long. Sorry, I had to make you do math. So, measurements. 1 head. 1.5. Okay? One, like half a head length space. Right? And then this is 1 head. This is 1 and 1 3/4. 1.5. I wrote that wrong. This is a fourth. This is 2 heads. The femur is the longest bone in the body. It's 2 heads. And then the leg is 1 3/4. And the foot is about the foot is actually going to be 1.5. It's about the same length as the forearm. Okay. Head is the landmark of the body. That's why that's important that you know the head. Starting with the head is just a good point also to start getting used to these measurements. You know, because like everything on the face is also like, oh, well, how big is this? Well, it's about 2 eyes. It's about 3 noses. It's about, you know, like insert amount of things here. Because like when you start doing like head anatomy, like right? Well, Vivi, how did you know where to place the ear? Ear is about halfway back. Halfway back from the front of the face. Always. Neck starts about there. Ish. Okay? And it's always angled coming out of the head. From the cranium. Okay? How do I size the nose? Anybody have a guess? Anybody remember? Is anybody taking notes? That's okay, I'll tell you. The nose starts from the bottom of the earlobe and ends like around here. Approximately the same length as that. Because the occipital ridge, the eyebrow ridge, is about level with the top of the ear. So the bottom of the nose is level with the earlobes. Ta-da! And the eyes are about halfway. So you place the eyes there. And it's gonna look goofy. I don't always like chin bone, and then like there's always gonna be a little bit of like overhang, right? Because like you have muscles underneath your neck that connect to muscles and fat underneath your neck that connect it to the actual neck underneath your chin that connect it to the actual neck, and that is what helps with the way that looks, so it doesn't look as awkward. I drew that really exaggerated, so you know, this forehead is really sloped. It could be less sloped. Neck is actually too wide. And of course, there's like minute things that you can change to do with your style and stuff. But generally, all the rules are kind of still used. Gotta know the rules to break them. Which brings us back to the slideshow! Ta-dang. Okay. So anyway, here's your homework. To really nail in the profile stuff, I'm going to have you do segments of the face, right? So I would like you to segment the face. You know, same place, go to Pure Ref, change the pose or the cropping of the cropping options to portrait, and then just go ahead and find some side profiles and just draw along this profile here to mark out the profile. That's what that means. And then segment the face like this for me in blue, and then split it in half to get the eye placement, right? You can see here that her nose is actually higher than her ear. Isn't that cool? Minute differences. And then I would like you to do 3. 5 is preferred. And if you finish that and you want something a little bit more difficult, draw me a sorrow head. I linked it in the PDF form of this as well, and I'm going to be posting that in the homework chat that I'm going to be making. But draw me in a sorrow head from 3 different angles. Okay? Okay. That's it. Thank you for coming to my lesson. Yay! Who has questions? Who has questions? Somebody's bound to have a question.